you.
All right, the beginning of the year is a great time to take stock of your finances and to prepare for financial success in 2022. Joining us with some really effective ways to do just that is David Herpers. He is the Senior Vice President at Credit One Bank. David, thanks so much for joining us. Why is the beginning of the year such a good time to really assess what you got going on?
Well, I think the first thing is we're starting to think about taxes, right? So the last year closed, we're preparing for taxes, and that means pulling out bank statements, pulling out our financial statements, so it's a great time to rethink our budget.
And so how do you start that process? Because for some people, the idea of budgeting is not a fun one, and one they haven't practiced necessarily.
Yeah, well, for a lot of people, it comes off as intimidating, a little daunting, but it really doesn't have to be. It's really a simple process of writing down what your inflows are, what your outflows are. Most people have a great handle on their inflows. They know how much money they're making each month. It's the outflows. Yeah. And it doesn't have to, you know, my advice is get a copy of 3 months credit card statements, 3 months bank statements, go through them, and most importantly, look for those recurring subscriptions.
It sounds very simple, but sticking to it, I guess, is the hard part.
Yes. Yes, and so I think once you started that budget and you've written it down, whether it be on note paper or a spreadsheet, then rethink about it every month. You know, the trigger could be the first day of the month, the trigger could be your first paycheck of the month, and that can be your reminder to get that budget out that you started in January and relook at it.
One of the tricks you have, and I think this is really smart because I am guilty of doing this, I'll sign up for a free trial of something, for instance, and then they say after 7 days or whatever it is, you start paying monthly, and I never get around to canceling the $5, $6, whatever it is a month, but that adds up.
It really does. So the average American has 9 recurring subscriptions, and 82% of us have at least one. So, you know, when I saw that stat, I thought, do I have 9? And I had to think about it, and I'm a pretty good budgeter. Yeah. So I think until you take at least 3 months credit card statements and bank statements, you may not even know what subscriptions you're paying for.
Yeah.
And I think, over the pandemic, a lot of us have added some subscriptions. Some of us, a lot of subscriptions.
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yes, because you're home and they say, hey, a free month of whatever.
Right.
Streaming service or channel.
Yep.
Yeah, it's easy to do, and I think I may take that average above 9, so yeah, I may be kicking it up there. What are some tips when it comes to organization? Because that is a hard part for a lot of people, myself included, when it comes to just making sense of all the credit card bills or bills that come into your house on a monthly basis.
Well, I think, I mean, if you're good with computers or at least have some basic knowledge of computers, the spreadsheet is, I think, the best approach. So you get your monthly statement, you've created the budget at the beginning of the year. Now I'm going to take that statement, I'm going to see if anything has changed. So one thing to remember is subscriptions aren't always monthly. Okay, some are quarterly, some are annual.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So until you've looked at a full year's worth of statements, you may miss something.
You're absolutely right. I've fallen prey to that one as well, where something pops up and it's, what's that $25 for, you know?
Right.
What is the most common mistake that you see people making when it comes to budgeting?
I think the most common mistake is not shopping around. So another interesting stat is the average consumer is overpaying auto insurance $330 a year. They've been sitting on the same insurance policy, the same insurance company for so many years, but if they just spent some time shopping around, they could save some considerable money.
A lot of money. All right. David Herpers from Credit One Bank, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah,
Great advice. Really appreciate it. Rocky.
Great combo. Thanks, guys. All right, in today's